Mike Tyson is 19 years old, standing at the bedside of the only father he's ever really known. The man is dying, pneumonia shutting down his organs one by one, and Mike is sobbing. Not crying quietly, sobbing. The kind of grief that comes from your chest and makes it hard to breathe. Because Mike knows what's about to happen. He's about to lose the man who saved his life. The man who looked at a chubby street kid with a lisp and saw a heavyweight champion. And what Mike says in this moment, and what Cus D'Amato says back, creates a promise that changes boxing history forever. Mount Sinai Hospital, Manhattan. The 4th of November 1985. The beeping of machines, the smell of antiseptic, the quiet hum of medical equipment keeping a 7-year-old man alive for just a little longer. Cus lies in the hospital bed, small, frail, nothing like the commanding presence he once was. His skin is pale, his breathing labored. Pneumonia has ravaged his lungs. The doctors have said there's nothing more they can do. It's just a matter of time now. Mike sits in a chair pulled close to the bed, both hands gripping the rail, staring at Cus's face, memorizing every detail, the wrinkles, the closed eyes, the shallow rise and fall of his chest. Mike is 19 years old, 24 wins, 0 losses, 22 knockouts, the most devastating young fighter anyone has ever seen, 6 months away from making history. But none of that matters right now. Right now, he's just a scared kid watching his father die. To understand this moment, you have to go back 5 years. Back to when they first met. Back to the prophecy that started everything. Catskill, New York. 1980. Mike Tyson is 13 years old. But not the Mike Tyson the world would come to know. This Mike is chubby, wearing thick glasses. Has a high-pitched voice with a lisp. Gets bullied constantly. Fights back by becoming a criminal. Stealing, robbing, getting arrested. By age 13, he's been arrested 38 times. Living in Brownsville, Brooklyn. The poorest, most dangerous neighborhood in New York City. His father gone. His mother struggling with addiction. His older brother dead. Mike is heading toward prison or death. Everyone knows it, including Mike. Then he gets sent to Tryon School for Boys, a juvenile detention center in upstate New York, reform school, last chance for kids like Mike. And there, he meets Bobby Stewart, a counselor at the school. Former Golden Gloves boxer, tough guy with a kind heart. Bobby sees something in Mike, not the criminal, not the bully, something else. Raw potential, natural aggression that could be channeled, power in those hands. Bobby starts training Mike. Basic boxing, how to throw a jab, how to move your feet, how to protect yourself. And immediately, Bobby realizes something. This kid is different, naturally gifted, strong beyond his years, fast hands, but more than that, hungry, desperate to be good at something, desperate to be seen as more than a street thug. After a few months, Bobby has a problem. Mike is getting too good. Bobby is coming home with black eyes, broken nose. His wife is getting upset, worried. Bobby realizes he's taken Mike as far as he can. This kid needs a real trainer, a professional, someone who can actually develop this talent. And Bobby knows exactly who to call. Cus D'Amato. Legendary boxing trainer. Made Floyd Patterson the youngest heavyweight champion in history. Trained Jose Torres to a light heavyweight championship. Legendary trainer who revolutionized defensive boxing with the peekaboo style. But Cus has been in semi-retirement for years. Living in a big house in Catskill with his common-law wife, Camille Ewald, running a small gym, training local kids, taking in troubled boys, trying to give them structure, discipline, purpose. Bobby calls Cus, says, "I have a kid you need to see. He's special." Cus agrees to watch Mike spar. Just a look, no commitment. Bobby drives Mike to Catskill. The entire ride, Mike is nervous, scared. Bobby keeps telling him, "Cus might not even like you the first time, but maybe he'll say we can come back. If he does, we'll work harder and keep coming back until he sees what we can do." Mike walks into Cus's gym. Small, old, Nothing fancy. Just a ring, some equipment, the smell of sweat and leather. Cus is there, 73 years old, white hair, sharp eyes. He watches Mike walk in, sees a chubby kid with glasses. Doesn't look like much, but Cus has been doing this long enough to know looks don't matter. It's what's inside that counts. Cus says, "Let's see what you've got." Mike gloves up. No sparring partner available. So Mike spars with Bobby, and for 10 minutes, Cus watches. Silent, arms crossed, face impassive. Just watching, analyzing, seeing things nobody else can see. The way Mike moves, the natural power, the speed, the hunger in his eyes, the killer instinct. After 10 minutes, Cus stops the sparring. Mike takes off his gloves, heart pounding, waiting, trying to read Cus's face. Can't. Bobby pulls Cus aside. They talk quietly. Mike can see them but can't hear them. On the drive home, Mike can barely contain himself. Mike asks Bobby, "Can I come back? How did he think I did?" Bobby pushes Mike playfully. Says, "Guess what he said?" Mike says, his voice small, "He said I can't come back?" Mike is such a low self-esteem kid. Years of bullying, years of being told he's nothing. A criminal, a loser. He can't imagine anyone seeing value in him. Bobby says, "No," he said. Bobby, barring outside distractions, that is the heavyweight champion of the world, and possibly the universe. But only if you continue to work like you've been working. Mike stops, stares at Bobby. Can't process what he's hearing. The heavyweight champion of the world. Him. The chubby kid with glasses who everyone laughs at. The kid who gets bullied. The kid who's been arrested 38 times. Cus D'Amato, a legend, just said Mike could be champion. Mike starts crying. Right there. Can't help it. Bobby says, "See, you're not a scumbag. You're not a loser. He said all that about you the first time he saw you. Do you realize what that means?" Those words change Mike's life. You're not a scumbag. Someone. A real someone. A respected someone. Sees value in him. Sees potential. Sees a champion where everyone else sees a criminal. Mike moves to Catskill. Cus takes him in. Not just as a student, as a son. Mike's mother dies in 1982. Mike is 16. Cus and Camille legally adopt him. Give him a home, a family, structure, love. For the first time in Mike's life, someone believes in him completely, unconditionally. The training is brutal. 6 a.m. wake up, run 5 miles, breakfast. Study boxing tapes, watch old fights, learn the history, learn the psychology. Then to the gym, hours of sparring. Heavy bag, speed bag, mitt work, conditioning. Then more study, reading books, working on his mind. Cus believes boxing is 90% mental, 10% physical. You train the mind. The body follows. Cus tells Mike stories about fear, about courage. Says, the hero and the coward both feel fear. The hero acts in spite of it. The coward runs from it. Says, you must understand that fear is your friend. It makes you alert, keeps you alive. Don't be ashamed of fear. Use it. Cus tells Mike, a boy comes to me with a spark of interest. I feed the spark and it becomes a flame. I feed the flame and it becomes a fire. I feed the fire and it becomes a roaring blaze. That's what Cus is doing with Mike. Feeding the fire. Building something unstoppable. Mike transforms. Builds muscle. His neck thickens. Shoulders broaden. Hands become weapons. He watches tapes obsessively. Studies Dempsey, Marciano, Patterson. Learns their moves. Their strategies. Their psychology. Cus doesn't just teach Mike how to fight. He teaches him how to think like a champion before he becomes one. March 1985. Mike turns pro, 18 years old. First fight, first round knockout. Second fight, first round knockout. Third fight, first round knockout. One after another. Mike is destroying everyone, not just winning, obliterating, knocking grown men unconscious in minutes. By November 1985, Mike is 24-0, 22 knockouts, the most feared young fighter in the world. Everyone knows. This kid is special. This kid is going to be champion. But Cus is getting sick. Started with a cough, then breathing problems, then the diagnosis, pneumonia, severe. At 77, his body can't fight it. The doctors try everything. Nothing works. November 1985. Cus is dying, and Mike is about to lose the man who saved his life. Back to the hospital room. The 4th of November, 1985. Mike sits at Cus's bedside. Cus's eyes open, weak, tired. He looks at Mike, sees the fear in his eyes, the grief, the panic. Mike's voice breaks, says through tears, "If you die, I'm not fighting anymore." He means it. Without Cus, none of this matters. The dream was never Mike's alone. It was theirs together. Cus saved him, gave him purpose, gave him a future. Without Cus, Mike would rather go back to the streets, back to being nobody, than try to be somebody without the man who made it possible. Cus's voice is weak but firm. Says, "You better fight." Mike shakes his head, tears streaming down his face. "Can't imagine doing this alone," Cus continues. "You're going to be heavyweight champion of the world. Don't you let me down." Mike says, choking on the words, "I promise. I promise I'll be champion. I'll make you proud." Cus manages a small smile, says, "You already have, but the world needs to see it too. You have the ability, you have the potential. Most of all, you have the desire. You really want to be a champion. That's what separates you." Cus says, "Remember what I taught you about fear. It's your friend. The hero and the coward both feel fear. You're the hero, Mike. You act. You don't run." Cus says, his voice getting weaker, "When you get that belt, you carry it for both of us. You hear me? Both of us." Mike nods. Can't speak, just nods. Hours later, Cus D'Amato dies. The 4th of November, 1985. 77 years old. Mike is there when it happens, holding his hand. The machines stop beeping. The room goes quiet. And Mike's world shatters. The funeral is small. Family, close friends, few people from the boxing world. Mike doesn't speak, can't, just stands there, numb, lost. The one person who believed in him. Gone. The one person who saw the champion when everyone else saw the criminal. Dead. Mike feels like half of himself died with Cus. The next weeks are dark. Mike trains, because he promised, but his heart isn't in it. He's going through the motions. Kevin Rooney, Cus's protege, takes over as trainer. Good man. Skilled trainer. But he's not Cus. Nobody is Cus. Mike feels alone. Adrift. Fighting because he made a promise, not because he believes anymore. But then something happens. Time passes. The grief doesn't go away, but it transforms, becomes fuel, becomes purpose. Mike realizes something. The best way to honor Cus, the only way to keep him alive, is to do exactly what Cus said. Become heavyweight champion. Prove the prophecy right. Show the world that Cus D'Amato wasn't wrong, that the chubby 13-year-old kid he took a chance on really was the heavyweight champion of the world. Mike fights with a different intensity now. Every punch is for Cus. Every knockout is proving Cus right. Every victory is honoring the man who saved him. Mike isn't just fighting opponents. He's fighting to keep a promise, to a man who can't see it. But Mike knows. Somehow, wherever Cus is, he's watching. The 22nd of November, 1986. 1 year and 18 days after Cus died. Las Vegas, Nevada. Hilton Hotel. Mike Tyson versus Trevor Berbick. WBC Heavyweight Championship. Mike is 20 years old. If he wins, he becomes the youngest heavyweight champion in history, breaking the record set by Floyd Patterson. Cus's first champion. The circle completing. Round 1. Mike comes out like a hurricane, peekaboo style, hands up by his face, head movement, slipping punches, getting inside. Berbick is a good fighter, experienced, strong. But he's never faced anything like Mike Tyson. Nobody has. Round 2. Mike is relentless, throwing combinations. Left hook, right uppercut. Left hook again. Berbick is hurt, wobbling. Mike sees it, smells blood, keeps coming. Another combination. Berbick goes down, gets up, stumbles, goes down again, gets up, stumbles into the ropes, goes down a third time. Referee stops it. TKO. Second round. Mike Tyson, 20 years, 4 months old, youngest heavyweight champion in history. The prophecy fulfilled, the promise kept. But Mike doesn't celebrate. Not really. The crowd is going crazy. His team is hugging him. The belt is being put around his waist, flashbulbs popping, everyone screaming. But Mike is somewhere else, thinking about a small gym in Catskill, thinking about a 3-year-old man who saw something nobody else saw, thinking about a promise made at a deathbed, back in his hotel room, alone. Mike sits on the bed, the belt next to him, and he cries. Not sad tears, not happy tears, both, everything. The years pass. Mike's career, the ups and downs, the glory, the falls, the mistakes, the prison, the comebacks, through it all. Cus's voice in his head, Cus's lessons, Cus's belief, even when Mike didn't believe in himself. Even when Mike lost his way completely, Cus was still there. In his mind, in his heart. 2022. 36 years after Cus died. Mike Tyson is 56 years old, being interviewed by the World Boxing Council. The interviewer asks a hypothetical. Says, if God came down and gave you a laptop, and you could send one email to Cus D'Amato, what would you write? Mike pauses. Long time. You can see him thinking, feeling, remembering. His eyes get wet. Then he speaks. Mike says, I would just ask him, did I do okay? Did I make you proud? Pauses again, voice breaking slightly. That's all I want to know. Did I fulfill what you saw in me? 36 years. Multiple championships, 50 wins, 44 knockouts. One of the most famous athletes in history. And Mike still wants to know, did I make you proud, Cus? Did I do enough? Was I the champion you saw? That's the power of Cus D'Amato. Not just what he taught Mike in the ring, but what he gave him outside it. Belief, purpose, love, a reason to be better, a reason to keep promises, even to someone who isn't here to see them kept. Mike kept the promise, became champion 1 year after Cus died, but more than that, Mike kept Cus alive. Every interview where he mentions Cus, every time he credits Cus for his success, every time he tells young fighters about the man who saved him. Cus lives, the prophecy lives, the love lives. Who in your life believed in you when nobody else did? Who saw the champion in you when everyone else saw the failure? And when they're gone, are you keeping the promise? Are you honoring what they saw? Because Mike Tyson did. A 9-year-old kid, sobbing at a deathbed, making a promise he wasn't sure he could keep, and 1 year later, against all odds, he kept it. He became exactly what Cus said he would be, the heavyweight champion of the world. And 36 years later, still asking, did I do okay? The answer, from everyone who knows the story, yes, Mike, you did more than okay. You kept your promise. You honored your father. You proved the prophecy right. Cus would be proud.